What's up, fellow Vanguard nerds? I'm Babblerab, and right here is the third and the fourth decks. Third and fourth decks. This one and this one. So, we're gonna start with this one, and then we're gonna go to this one. So, we got Messiahs. Now, this was a deck that was slightly impulse bought, but it was also me kind of weighing decisions as to whether or not I wanted to play Thavis, or I wanted to play not Thavis. So, determining that Alexandros, which is the new GR for Aquaforce, potentially could be a 4 of, depending on who you are, which I'm crazy, so it's going to be a 4 of for me. So I decided that it's in my best interest for my wallet if I did not build Thavis and I just played Maelstrom, because I don't actually need Alexandros and Maelstrom. So instead, we decided to make the poor life choice of making Messiahs. And this is also partially due to the fact that Kopek had 2 copies of Excelix Messiah, and I was just like, well, fantastic. I guess I'll play this deck now. And it also had a lot to do with what I pulled. So, we're going to jump straight into it. This is not the starter I'd really want to be playing. I want to be playing like original Neon Messiah, because he can fish another Messiah out, but he actually is not terrible at the same time. He can hit numbers depending on how you do, and you can draw cards with him, so it's okay. Anyway, so yeah, we're playing Neon Messiah Orion because I don't have original Neon Messiah. I do want to dabble with both of them, but I have to get original Neon Messiah. So it's just like, well, alright, we're just going to play whatever came with the trial deck, so fantastic. And then the lineup is 4 heals. Who cares? It's 4 heals. Get the Karina heal. I need Lacus Karina. My life is so hard. 8 crit. I had to order 2 Blink Messiahs. I pulled 2. I need to get 2 more. So, yeah. My friend and I got like 7 boxes of the Link Joker set, and I didn't get like... I got like an incomplete Deleter deck and a complete Messiah deck, and I was just like, what? Why? And then he got... The amount of Starvader stuff that Kopek got from that freaking set was ridiculous. He got Glue Ball SPs, Glendios SPs, Chaos SPs, Chaos SGRs. I'm just like... All I got was GR Messiah and the normal triple rares. He got all the good stuff. Like, it was really stacked. I was actually surprised at how little Deleter stuff we pulled. In the end, I had 2 PGs from sneak peek packs, and on the 7 boxes, I didn't pull a single Deleter PG. Just take a moment to think about what the heck. So, yeah, I was pretty confused. So, yeah, that's anyway. The trigger lineup, back on topic, is the Blink Messiah because he throws himself into Soul to give him Messiah 5k, and you draw a card, and then this guy is the Recycling Crit. Might want to go up to 12 crit depending on how many times I deck myself out, which is fairly frequently. But other than that, it's not bad. And then we got the draw trigger, throw into Soul. Honestly, this deck doesn't have Soul issues anymore, because if you're playing Alter Ego Neo Messiah, you can conserve Soul way better. Plus, Lady Fencer of Matter Transmission is like so good for maintaining Soul. So, not really that necessary, and I may want the extra crit pressure. But yeah, so 4 draw. Grade 1s, we got 4 Sacrifice Messiah. Literally, this deck did not feel like, this card smooths the entirety of the deck out so much. I didn't have Sacrifice Messiah. I had to ask a friend to sell me the Sacrifice Messiahs. So I'm just sitting there using Dark Metal Chameleon and Globule Dober, and I'm just like, this is really bad. I mean, I'm drawing a card, this is nice, but I'm running out of cards in Soul. Dark Metal Chameleon just like, I feel sad face. It doesn't do a whole lot for me. And then then replace them with Sacrifice Messiah, and suddenly the entire deck just like started playing so much smoother. So yes, if you're playing Messiahs, based on my limited knowledge of the deck, play 4 Sacrifice Messiah for everyone who's newer to the deck than I am. It's a good life choice. And then 3 Destiny Dealer. The alternative, what you could do here is run like 1 original Alter Ego instead of 2, which is, I'm running 2 Alter Ego in my deck, and then play 4 Destiny Dealer if you want to do 4 Stride Enabler. But I'm playing 8 grade 3s instead of 7, so I'm playing 3 Destiny Dealer. And then he's the one that just fishes for any Messiahs that you want. And then we got 3 Dunamis Messiah. It's a good number. 3 is good. 4 would be nice, but the space is actually pretty tight in the deck, so yeah. What he does, it's a newer card, so you Soul Blast 1 after he's done boosting, lock him, unlock a unit, and give something 4k. Good for getting your entire field locked when you're going to go into Amnesty, Alter Ego Neo. Nope, sorry, Harmonics Neo Excelix Messiah, and Basaltus. Basaltus is such a fun card. It's part of the reason why I don't feel the need to like get a big Crunch Dragon at all. And then the new PG, because what this does is if you've got a bad field where basically nothing can lock itself, this card, if it's in your drop zone, draws you a card and locks 2 of your units, so you're just that much closer to pulling off one of your Messiah strides, so you're just like, thumbs up. Double thumbs up. I really love this card. It's so good. So good. Then we move on to the grade 2s. You should probably be playing 4 of this. Lady Fencer of Matter Transmission. So when she is unlocked or placed on the Vanguard Circle, she becomes 11k for the turn. Then when she attacks, you counterblast 1, she gets 5k, you soul charge 1, and then at the end of the battle she locks herself. It's so good. This thing can hit big columns. I love this card so much. Would never play less than 4 because it's just that good. And then we have questionable life choices, which is, what is it actually called? Deimos Bear? Deimos Bear. So, no one plays this card. It's, I actually enjoy the card. It's like, this is still kind of just sitting in the casual deck range. So I have strange life choices in this deck. So the reason why we play Deimos Bear is because you can pop him behind your Vanguard and he's literally doing nothing at that point. And then he rests himself, locks himself, gives something that's attacking 5k. So that makes the columns even bigger. So like for example, with Matter Transmission, you have this unboosted plus this equals 21k, which is magic number. And magic numbers are amazing. So it's I want to make the claim that this is an underrated card, but I'm also not a Messiah player by default. I play Nubatama and Bermudas as my main 2. I just recently picked up my Messiahs, so I really don't have a lot of credibility in this claim, but I'm gonna make it and say that I think this card's fairly underrated, at least in a at least in terms of funness, it's underrated. And I don't see other people running it. I think it's not a bad card. I like it. So playing 3 because I like Bear. And then we got 2 Lady Battler of the Black Dwarf. I do have 4 of this, and I do have 4 of this. And I'm pretty certain these are what would be replacing Deimos Bear. So what I see frequently is 4 Arrestor Messiah and like 3 Black Dwarf. She's good though, because after she attacks, when she's boosted, you lock herself, give something 5k, so that's good. Just like Deimos Bear. So like they have a similar role, and he doesn't have to necessarily be attacking. So they do similar stuff. Right? And then Arrestor Messiah is the 11k attacker after he's done attacking, locks himself, locks something in your opponent's back row. So also good, right? But yeah, I find myself, like, the main 2, like, out of the grade 2 line, what I find myself really liking to see most of the time is actually these, like, 7 cards here, for whatever reason. Arrestor Messiah is good, but the thing is, I'm usually at the point where I'm, like, going to just use, like, Basaltus or something instead. So I want to just, if I'm going to lock my opponent's whole field, I'll just use Basaltus Messiah instead of Arrestor Messiah. I get that, like, Arrestor is good when you're using it in tandem with, like, Amnesty or Excelix Messiah because it can go and lock stuff in your opponent's back row. So I got to dabble around more with the deck before I go and make that decision, but I do have 4 Black Dwarf, I do have 4 Arrestor, so it's going to come down to what I end up actually liking in the end. So yeah, this is either going to be a secondary deck or a fun deck, I don't know which yet. And then we move to the grade 3 lineup. So we got 4 Alter Ego Neo Messiah. Whoa, big surprise. This is the one you want to see all the time. No questions asked. I get that normal Alter Ego is okay, and that's why you do have Destiny Dealer to search him, but Alter Ego Neo under like almost every other situation, just in terms of soul conservation, is so much better than normal Alter Ego. Yes, you can like Soul Blast 3 to draw 3, but you could also, over the course of 2 turns, Soul Blast 3 to draw 6. I mean, it is over the course of 3 turns, but it still doesn't deck you out as quick, conserves your soul, and draws you more cards, so is pretty good. But we still play 2 Alter Ego. 2 OG Alter Ego Messiah. Yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. Oh yeah, also the on-stride skill is way better for this guy than this guy because he doesn't call stuff from your hand, and he has to, I think it's like lock one of your own stuff, lock one of your opponent's thing. Choose one of your rearguards and lock it. When your G unit strides during your turn, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your opponent's rearguards and lock it, and your Vanguard gains 5k till end turn. That's all good skill, it's just the counterblast cost makes me cry. Versus Alter Ego Neo doesn't give the 5k, but it's still, you call something from your hand, so if you don't have a field, you can do that and lock a thing. And then, this is like really personal preference. Lady Gunner of the Neutron Star. Reason why is just choose one of your things, choose one of your opponent's things, lock them both, done. Plain and simple. Yeah, it's GB restricted, but it doesn't have a counterblast cost, it doesn't have a soul blast cost, and it's just nice and simple. And your opponent does not get to choose what gets locked. So, I like that. Anyway, that's the main deck right there. The main deck is 50 cards exact. Whoa, 50 cards. Then we move to the G-Zone. This card is stupid, like actually stupid. Harmonics Neo Messiah is such a dumb card, and I love it. Like, it's not okay at any point. You unlock everything. All of your rear guards that are unlocked get 5k. This is GB3, but who actually cares? You can get it on second stride. And then, if 5 or more units were unlocked, this guy gets 5k for... Wait, no. This guy gets 5k for Eratin that was unlocked. And then, if you unlocked 5 or more, your opponent can't guard this with grade 1s or higher from hand. It's just like, well, that's a pickle. Because I've been playtesting with this guy, and I was swung at a friend with this guy at like 71. I'm like, have fun G-guarding this. You're gonna have to use multiple heals to actually guard this. And they'll just be like, well, I can't guard this, so this is kind of bullshit. I'm like, yeah, just a little bit. So, feels bad, because like, the funniest part is, this guy I would end games with this guy without realizing that his secondary, like the other part of his skill gives 5k to every rear guard. So in addition to swinging 71 that they cannot guard most of the time, you also have like 40k rear guard columns. It's just, that's not okay. I mean, I think it's stupid, and I love it, but it's not okay. At no point can that be considered okay. But it's fine. So we got 4 Bassaltus Messiahs. Now, this is kind of my preference over Big Crunch Dragon. I don't have a Big Crunch Dragon. I have someone who I can get Big Crunch Dragons from, but I have to buy them off of them. However, my thought process is actually just Bassaltus kind of does what I want it to do, or what, like, Big Crunch would be useful against stuff with resist, because I believe it'll just lock the whole, Omega lock the whole column. So I think as long as one thing in that column doesn't have resist, it doesn't target the card that actually would have resist in that column. So in the case of a deck playing lots of resist cards, this would be, Big Crunch would be more useful. However, what I like about Bassaltus is that if your opponent doesn't have resist, you can just like literally lock their entire field while unlocking your own field. And then he's actually not half bad as a slightly more hand advantage oriented first stride, because A gets you to GB2 on first stride, meaning that Harmonics Neo is now live. Did I say Harmonics? Sorry, Alter Ego Neo is now live. And B, as long as you unlock at least one card with his skill, you get to draw a card. So, assuming that you're not using the PG to draw any cards during that turn, you go Bassaltus off of Harmonics Neo. I keep calling it Harmonics Neo. This is Harmonics Neo. Alter Ego Neo. You draw a card because you're going to unlock at least one card from that, and then you're going to draw 2 more cards off of this, plus the triple drive, and any draw triggers you hit. Assuming you hit 0 draw triggers, you get 6 cards to your hand that turn. It's not bad. So that's kind of why Bassaltus is nice, is because it gets you to GB2 on first stride, so you can immediately go into Harmonics Neo Messiah next turn. Or, assuming it's later on in the game, you're saying about GB3, GB4, maybe even GB5, you are playing Messiahs, so it's not going to be uncommon for you to have a completely locked rear guard. Like, all of your rear guards are probably going to be locked. So this guy can unlock all of those and then just blanket lock all your opponent's cards. I mean, you have to choose each of them. Is it a choose? Let's find out. Yeah, but still, like, assuming they're not playing resist, you just lock their entire field and they're just like, well, we're in a bit of a pickle now, aren't we? So, I actually don't mind this guy, and I pulled 4 of him, so I figured I might as well run 4 of him. But, yeah. Overall, the deck is so much fun to play. And then we got 2 Excelix and 1 real Amnesty, 1 fake Amnesty, because I still need to get 1 more from a friend. What I'm probably planning on doing is if I can get maybe Flagellate Messiah, or if the new Messiah from the new set's actually like good, I might just go for that instead. So the Stargate Nation Booster. So I might probably cut an Excelix and cut this guy right here from the deck. I really rarely stride him anyway, because I just go Bassaltus, I think. So yeah. So cut to Excelix to 1, still play the 2 Amnesty, because Amnesty's still good as a first stride too, because again with the Pacifica thing, if you hit the 2 crits and they're at 2 damage, the game's over. If they hit, unless they hit a heal trigger. So that's kind of why I'm debating on cutting draw triggers entirely and just going 12 crits for the extra pressure and the reduced chances of me dying. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts with Excelix. Like, Excelix is good because it will retire any unlocked units that your opponent has. They don't actually get it back, and it powers up all your rear guards that you unlocked by the effect, versus Amnesty just pumps itself up. But this is a little tougher to get off than this is, and you have to have used an Amnesty to get your Excelix started. So that's kind of why I'm debating on just cutting an Excelix, playing 1, because you only need 1. The entirety of this revolves around like just Amnesty. So you play probably 2 Amnesty, 1 Excelix, and then just cut the other one for whatever new Messiah is, or just play a Flagellate. But yeah, the main ones I do go into, for the most part, just Bassaltus and Harmonics Neo anyway, so it's not a huge issue. And then we got Nebula Dragon, Cyclic Dragon. So this is, I guess, if like you want just the on-hit pressure as opposed to like the extra draw. So like probably your first stride will be one of these 3 guys. This is if you want your opponent to burn cards in their hand to stop you from hitting. And this is if you want hand advantage, this is if you just want pressure. These two will probably take cards out of your opponent's hand because they're not going to want to have a column locked. This will lock one of their opponent's rear guards without even having to hit, and it'll draw you cards. And then this is increased crit pressure. So these are like the 3 first strides you should probably be using. And then, honestly, I still don't really stride this guy as much as I thought I would. It was kind of the same mentality as with Vortex Desire, where it's just, if I hit, I'm retiring 2 of your rear guards, which is just the same thing as if I hit, I'm already at GB2, and if I hit, I'm locking 2 of your rear guards. The only downside is that this guy will not enable Alter Ego Neo like Basaltus will, and then this guy still won't also enable Alter Ego Neo because it's not GB2. So yeah, I'm probably going to cut him from the deck and then play either 2 Flagellate or 2 of the New Messiah when it comes out. And then we got the GB8. Have gotten it off in like practice draws like once, and it was absurd. So yeah, choose 2 cards from your hand, discard them, choose, like if your opponent has like a bunch of open rear guard circles, they're like, okay, you now have 5 cards out of your hand and a bunch of locked cards. Oh, and by the way, resist doesn't exactly get around this either. So it's just like, well, rip. So if you can get to GB8 and your opponent like leaves an empty board, you're just sitting there giving a thumbs up and just watching your opponent's hand size drop by 5 cards. So you're fine with that. It's good in my books. Last 4 cards are the sort of okay G-Zone. So we got the 1 Maxwell, 2 Destiny Guardians, and Light that seals the tier Lady Healer. So Maxwell is there just to lock more stuff. I honestly probably, like, it locks your back row and then gives your Vanguard 5k. So what I might honestly do is cut a Destiny Guardian from the deck, because I find that his skill is more often dead than not. So go, like, swap a Destiny Guardian into my Deleter deck, and then play 2 Demon Maxwell here, and then 1 Destiny Guardian, 1 Demon Maxwell, and then the 4 Deleter G-Guard in Deleters. And then, yeah, because I find that I prefer to lock my own back row a lot more in this deck than I do in Deleters. Whoa, go figure. And then this card's actually pretty good, because if you have a locked card, or if there's a locked card on the field, which you can usually do this after Demon Maxwell, right? So if there's a locked card on the field, you Soul Blast 1. How does it work again? When this unit is placed in the guard circle, if there's a locked card and you pay the cost, if you do, it gets 5k, and then if your Vanguard's Messiah, it gets 5k again. So 10k guard if there's 1 locked card on the field, and then you pay the Soul Blast cost. And then this is 10k if you unlock 2 or more, and this is 5k and you lock 1. So yeah, definitely probably 2 Demon Maxwell in this deck, 1 Destiny Guardian, 1, what are you called? 1 Lady Healer, and then that's about the whole deck. Or I go 1 Lacus Carina, 1 Destiny Guardian, 1 Maxwell, 1 Lady Healer, 1 Destiny Guardian. I don't know. I like putting Lacus Carina in this deck would be so nice, but I'm like having no luck getting this card. So, oh well. Anyway, that is my Casual Messiah deck. If you got any questions about the deck, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. And if you have any like thoughts on the deck, or like, yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say. But anyway, that is my Messiah deck, and I will see you guys in the next video, which will be my Coral deck, which is like a Bermuda deck that I've never showcased before. But it's like, I've recently started having a ton of fun with it. So yeah, peace.